With Glisser, you can create a slide deck presentation or a single session, or you can create an event with multiple sessions. In this video, I'll walk you through how to do both. First, let's start by creating a session, which will be the slide deck presentation. To insert your presentation into your Glisser dashboard, click the Add Session button located at the top right-hand section of the dashboard and click on Interactive Slide Sharing. Once your new presentation is opened, click on Add Content and select Import Slides. From here, you're able to upload your slide deck to your presentation. You're now ready to add some polls into your Glisser presentation. To do this, click on Add Content and then select the poll type you want to add, whether that's an opinion, quiz, rating, free text, or date picker poll. Once you select your poll and fill in the information about the poll, it will appear in your presentation looking like a slide that you can move around your slide deck. Your audience will be using your presentation's unique URL to access it in their browser. You can choose your own URL in the top right corner of the presentation settings section. We recommend you keep it short and snappy so your audience is less likely to make mistakes when typing it in. From the right-hand sidebar, you're able to customize your slide deck with interactive features like audience Q&A, moderation, likes, audience notes, and subtitles and translation. A general rule of thumb at Glisser is orange enables and gray disables. Under Content Settings, you can turn on the option to let your audience download the slides after the session's done, and you can choose whether or not you want to watermark them. Now let's move on to personalizing your presentation. To do this, open up the Personalization drop-down tab on the right-hand side of your Glisser dashboard. From here, you can choose the language, match your company's accent color, select a light or dark theme, select either pastel or bright poll color scheme, and upload a background image to appear behind your polls and Q&A feed on the main screen. If you'll be doing a live stream with your presentation, you can turn that on and add in the details. You can also add some custom links to your session to direct your audience to other related content. You can turn this on under related content and add in those links. If you're creating a sponsor session, you can keep every sponsor session separate from each other and not show related sessions by turning on the Hide Sessions button. Once your slide deck is personalized to your liking, you can adjust your data security options and which credentials your audience needs to access your presentation. For example, if the ID capture is off, attendees can access your presentation and interact using just a presentation link. If the ID capture is set as email capture, attendees must enter their email address to access your presentation and be able to interact. If the ID capture is set to unique ID, attendees have to enter an ID that you set. For example, this could be a student ID or another unique ID number. Choosing social allows delegates to log in using their Google account or LinkedIn account details. And as an additional level of security, you can also set a PIN to enter the room. You can reveal this PIN on the day to make sure no one else can access your content. You can also turn on the whitelist feature to give specific people access. Finally, you can turn on audience consent if you want to customize the consent screen that comes up when your audience first enters your session. If you want to create more buzz during and after your presentation, you can turn our Twitter feature on. Through this, attendees can post your slides on Twitter with the hashtag that you set. And finally, you can monetize your session by turning on waiting room content and adding a video or image from your sponsor that will show when attendees are in the waiting room before your session goes live. And that's it. That's how you create a session in Glisser from beginning to end. You're now ready to share your URL and go live with your audience. Now let's talk about how to create an event in Glisser. This is different from a single session since an event will house multiple sessions that your audience can attend. The first thing you need to have in mind is the structure of your event. Some questions you might want to consider are: how many days is my event for? How many rooms and sessions does my event have? And do I want on-demand content for my event? With an idea of how you want your event to look, you'll be able to start creating your event. Let's first start by adding an event to your Glisser account. Go to the right top corner and click on Add Event, Create New. A window will pop up where you'll be able to add the event name, the invite code or URL for your event, the start and end date, rooms, topic rooms, and slots agenda, which are sessions. Once you're happy with your structure, click on Create Event and you'll have the structure for your event created. You can always change these later on within the event settings as well. Next, you'll decide on the settings for your event. These can be found on the right-hand side of your Glisser screen. Under Event Settings, you can change the audience URL as well as the start and end dates. Here you'll also find the settings that are very similar to your session settings that we already covered. Note that each one of your sessions can have have their individual settings, but changing settings at the event level will change it for all of the sessions, so be sure to set these first. Under interaction settings, you'll define how the audience can interact with your event, including audience Q&A, moderation, likes, and audience notes. Under content settings, you can choose how your audience gets to view your slides as you share them. Moving on to personalization, where you can custom brand your entire event. After personalization comes data security, which we spoke about in the session section. Data security is the only setting group that only works on the overall event level. And finally, there's monetization. This is also similar to the monetization settings in sessions, but the difference is that events have lobby content and a welcome video instead of waiting room content. Glisser can offer opportunities for sponsors to upload videos, images, and hyperlinks to appear in the waiting room or lobby area within events and individual sessions. You can also add a welcome video to play when people land on your event. Once the event structure and settings are added, it's time to add content to your event. Start by revising and adding any extra sessions and on-demand content sessions if needed. You can do this by clicking on the Add Content button on the top right corner. From the drop-down, select Add Room, Add Topic, or Add Slot. When selecting a session, you'll be able to add content to it by clicking on Upload Session on the right-hand side panel, or you can choose from an existing session you already have in Glisser. Then you can also link to some related sessions to help your audience find content to watch after the session's done. And that's it. That's how you make an event from start to finish in Glisser.